Greetings, seeker of truth. I am the guide leading you silently through the world of Arcana. Today, we will touch upon the great secret hidden beneath the desert sands, the mystery of the pyramids. If you are ready, let us leave the flow of time behind. The Giza Pyramids have remained a grand mystery preoccupying the human mind for millennia. Were these massive structures truly just tombs built for pharaohs, or were they structures that communicated with the heavens and served an unknown power? Even today, scientists cannot definitively explain how stone blocks weighing approximately 2.5 tons each were placed with such perfect precision. Even more intriguing is that the layout of the pyramids matches the alignment of the Orion constellation in the sky with astonishing accuracy. Is this alignment merely a coincidence? But the precision of the Great Pyramid goes far beyond its alignment with the stars. If you multiply the height of the pyramid by 43,200, you get the polar radius of the Earth. If you multiply its base perimeter by the same number, you get the equatorial circumference of our planet. How did a civilization thousands of years ago know the exact dimensions of the Earth? This mathematical signature suggests that the Great Pyramid was intended to be a scale model of the Northern Hemisphere, a temple of wisdom frozen in stone. Furthermore, we must look at the materials used. The Great Pyramid is not just made of limestone. Its inner chambers, like the King's Chamber, are lined with massive red granite blocks brought from Aswan, hundreds of miles away. Granite contains high amounts of quartz, a crystal known for its piezoelectric properties. Some alternative researchers suggest that the pyramid was actually a Giza power plant, a giant machine designed to harness the Earth's natural vibrations and convert them into clean wireless energy. The shafts, long thought to be air vents, may have actually been waveguides for electromagnetic frequencies directed toward the stars. Inside the silent darkness of the king's chamber, there is a granite coffer. It is often called a sarcophagus, yet no mummy or burial remains were ever found inside it. When struck, this coffer resonates at a specific frequency that matches the human brain's meditative state. Was this a place for burial or a chamber for high-level spiritual initiation and transformation? The mystery deepens with the recent discovery of the Big Void using muon tomography, a massive hidden gallery inside the pyramid that no human has entered for thousands of years. What lies within that darkness? Is it a library of ancient records or the technology that allowed them to move mountains? As we stand before these gargantuan monuments, we realize that we are not looking at the work of primitive tribes, but the remnants of a lost superior science. The pyramids do not fear time, they challenge it, waiting for the day we are finally wise enough to decode their message. You see, if stones could talk, what would they say? But now we descend to a darker place, to the valleys where kings are immersed in eternal sleep. You aren't afraid of curses. Perhaps the ancient Egyptians possessed hidden mathematical and cosmic knowledge that we do not yet fully understand. The corridors stretching inside the pyramids resemble a mysterious passage toward the stars rather than a simple labyrinth. In ancient Egypt, death was not an end for pharaohs, it was considered the beginning of an unknown journey. Mummification rituals were intended to preserve the body for the Ka soul, but this journey was not easy. The series of mysterious deaths following the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb gave birth to the concept of the Pharaoh's curse. There was an expression warning those who entered the tomb. He who disturbs my spirit shall feel the breath of death. Were these words an ancient spell or natural dangers later explained by science? The Book of the Dead explains the trials the soul must pass in the afterlife one by one. The moment when the heart is weighed against a feather of mat is the point where a person's fate is decided. In ancient Egypt, some tombs were never meant to be opened. They were not just burial places, they were considered untouchable zones. Priests believed that disturbing a pharaoh's rest would shatter the balance of the world itself. So when Tutankhamun's tomb was opened in 1922, many began to wonder, were the strange events that followed really just coincidence? One by one, members of the excavation team fell ill. Some died suddenly, others suffered mental breakdowns and overwhelming fear. These incidents gave rise to the idea that Egypt had its own invisible defense system. Some scientists argue that deadly microorganisms trapped inside sealed tombs for thousands of years were released into the air, but others ask a more unsettling question: what if the ancient Egyptians used a forgotten form of science to turn their tombs into weapons against time and against intruders? For the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end, it was the moment of judgment. According to the Book of the Dead, the soul had to pass through dark corridors before standing before a divine court. In this place, words meant nothing, only intentions mattered. A person's entire life was weighed in a single moment. Even hidden thoughts, long buried in silence, were revealed. If someone had lived far from truth, no punishment and no paradise awaited them, only oblivion. To the Egyptians, the greatest fear was not suffering but being erased without a trace. Perhaps this trial was not a myth at all, but the moment when human consciousness judges itself at the edge of death. Would you have the courage to face your own life in that court? The veil between humans and spirits is lifting. Now, it is time to meet the rulers of the heavens and the earth. This power might blind you, but we must not stop, my friend. The ancient Egyptian pantheon is filled with complex and mysterious symbols. At the head is the sun god Ra, and beside him, Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic. It is said that all the secrets of the universe are written in Thoth's emerald tablets. Anubis, the guide of the dead, Horus, the all-seeing eye. Were these gods merely mythological characters or beings from other worlds? The Eye of Horus symbol is still used today in mystical schools as a sign of protection and foresight. The annual flooding of the Nile was associated with the tears of Isis. In this section, we explore the traces the gods left in human history, the secret codes etched into hieroglyphs and forgotten rituals. The mystical Ankh symbol, the key to eternal life. Can this key truly open the door of the portal? In this section, we explore the traces the gods left in human history, the secret codes etched into hieroglyphs and forgotten rituals, the mystical Ankh symbol, the key to eternal life. Can this key truly open the door of the portal? The pyramids were not merely tombs, they were colossal bridges built between the heavens and the earth. According to some researchers, the placement of the pyramids was precisely aligned with the constellation of Orion. Was this a coincidence or the reflection of knowledge that came from the stars? At night, priests performed rituals in the most secret chambers of the temples. In these rituals, sound, vibration, and the power of words were used. Because they knew this, the universe was created through sound. The sacred words of Thoth, when spoken at the correct frequency, could bend reality. It is at this point that the concept of death loses the meaning we know. For the Egyptians, death was not an end, but a transition. The soul would stand before the scales under the guidance of Anubis. The heart was weighed against a feather, and if the heart proved heavier, the soul could not reach eternity. This is where the hidden knowledge of Isis comes into play. She was the goddess who reunited what was lost. Her resurrection of the fragmented Osiris symbolized the reawakening of human consciousness. Perhaps this story was meant to remind us of a forgotten power. The eye of Horus saw everything, not only the external world, but also the darkness within the human soul. That is why this symbol is still used today in spiritual teachings as a sign of protection and awareness. Anubis guarded the passage between worlds. Ra illuminated the path with cosmic light. Horus watched from beyond time, and Thoth recorded this forbidden knowledge for those who would awaken. Together, these four gods may not have been myths at all, but keepers of a truth humanity has yet to fully remember. We are nearing the end, traveler, but every end is the beginning of another truth. Egypt's origins are not only in the desert, perhaps they are hidden in the silent depths of the ocean. Are you ready to pull back the final curtain? Many researchers believe that Egyptian civilization reached its peak almost instantly, appearing on the stage of history without a gradual development phase. This raises a serious question. How was such a rise possible? The answer may lie in the lost continent of Atlantis. Water erosion marks observed on the Sphinx's body suggest it was built long before Egypt turned into a desert. This fact suggests that Egyptian culture is much older than what is written in official history books. According to legends, the sages who survived a great catastrophe brought their knowledge to the banks of the Nile and laid the foundations of a new civilization. The depictions in the Dendera temple resembling electric lamps also hint that ancient people might have possessed technologies far more advanced than we thought. Today, we walk upon their legacy, but we still haven't fully understood the true nature of this knowledge and power. This time on the Arcana channel, we pulled back the veil of darkness a little. But remember, behind every door that opens, a deeper and more dangerous secret lies hidden. How did they move stones that modern cranes struggle with? Ancient texts often speak of chanting to move heavy objects and singing to soften stone. This suggests a mastery of sonic technology, a science of frequency that we are only now beginning to rediscover. In the Serapeum of Saqqara, we find 100-ton granite boxes finished with a precision that exceeds modern aerospace standards. These were not primitive tools at work. This was the inheritance of a global maritime empire that used the vibrations of the earth to reshape reality. The Egyptians themselves called their earliest history Zeptepi, the first time. They claimed that during this era, gods lived among men and taught them the arts of civilization. If we look at these gods through a modern lens, they resemble survivors of a high-tech society seeking to restart humanity after a global cataclysm. The sudden appearance of advanced writing, medicine, and architecture in the first dynasties of Egypt is not a miracle, it is a legacy. We are the children of a forgotten father looking at the remnants of a world that once touched the stars. The darkness falls again, but the secrets never end. What would you like our next mystery to be about? Don't forget to write your thoughts in the comments. To support us on this mystical journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.